Good evening, you're watching News Mongolian World. I'm your host, Anil Kambatar. And for top stories, on Monday, October 2nd, the Parliament of Mongolia launches an autumn session. Students' initiative reduced the risk of 73,000 liters of water loss a year. United States hosts forum to advance Mongolia's food security. And for other news, stay tuned. On October 2nd, the Parliament of Mongolia opened its autumn session. The session was opened by a speech given by the Speaker of Parliament, Zandan Shatra. The opening session was attended by the Prime Minister, representatives from the Cabinet of Mongolia, from the President's office, and diplomatic missions in Mongolia.
The upcoming fall session promises to be a dynamic and politically charged period encompassing a myriad of significant events. Among these events, the approval of the budget for the 126-member parliament, and as the pre-election season, this fall season holds particular importance for policymakers and political powers. However, at the forefront of anticipation lies the eagerly awaited coal hearing, which has garnered attention since the authorities initiated their crusade against corruption. The so-called coal case has been the subject of extensive discussion involving a substantial amount of money and a considerable number of individuals. Initially, the case implicated about 40 billion Mongolian tugreks and 40 people. Currently, the legal authorities are conducting investigation regarding 11 individuals linked to the coal case. The decision by this parliament to increase the number of parliamentary members to 126 starting in 2024 is poised to shape the budget and the course of action for the new government. Traditionally, there is an unspoken rule that designates the budget of the year prior to an election as a cornerstone in the electoral promises of the ruling party, rather than being allocated to the next parliament or government. Additionally, the fall session is slated to address a comprehensive set of draft laws aimed at resolving the pervasive issue of traffic congestion, a significant challenge in the daily life of the residents of the capital city. Despite numerous projects aimed at reducing traffic congestion, the absence of a legal framework has hindered effective regulation. Matters such as holding irresponsible drivers accountable and imposing restrictions on all the vehicles imported through customs necessitate further legal clarification. Therefore, it is expected that Minister for Traffic Congestion, Sukhpatar, will advocate for comprehensive legislation to effectively tackle the issue of traffic congestion and provide a viable solution to this long-standing issue.
General education school students in Hoft province researched the risk of freshwater shortages at 7 schools. They discovered 25 broken toilet bowls and 20 leaking sinks. Their research made it possible to prevent the loss of 8,000 liters of water a week and 73,000 liters of water a year. Every school has a toilet bowls and sinks, but they aren't properly used. Faucets and sinks are easily broken, so we researched this problem. One toilet bowl uses 760 liters of water, and one sink uses 18 liters of water inefficiently.
First, measures were taken for the leaking fixtures, and the plumber repaired the damaged fixtures. We believe the water loss problem has decreased by 30 to 40%. One of the things the students did to protect freshwater resources without the participation of adults was to fence off a local springhead. Students learned how to use water properly and protect clean water sources.
35 students from 7 schools received advice from a professional organization and cleared their surrounding area of stones. This allowed more plants to grow and more water to flow. After learning that ibex came to the spring to drink water, we picked up the surrounding stones and worked to improve the water flow. We plan to build a well that opens and closes every 10 or 15 minutes when an animal comes to drink water.
If children adopt good habits from childhood, it will make their lives easier in the future. For many years, experts have said there's a shortage of clean water and that measures should be taken at the policy level. These students have shown that measures can start with simple steps.
Now let's take a look at the Mongolian affairs.
The United States Agency for International Development and Development Solutions (NGO), through the Business Excellence for Sustainability and Transparency project, organized a forum to enhance Mongolia's food security. Focused on exploring new financing avenues for agriculture, the forum gathered diverse perspectives as representatives from the government, private sector, and donor organizations discussed challenges and opportunities to apply innovative solutions and financing approaches. U.S. Ambassador to Mongolia Richard Boangan delivered opening remarks along with Deputy Minister of Food, Agriculture and Light Industry Kan Khutluk and Executive Director of the Mongolian Bankers Association Amar. They underscored the crucial role of partnerships to advance growth in the agricultural sector. Mongolia's agricultural sector faces unprecedented challenges, including disruptions in the supply of essential inputs such as fertilizer and market uncertainties, Ambassador Boangan said. The forum highlighted the results of a survey on the need to expand access to finance for farmers conducted by USAID's BEST program, the Mongolian Bankers Association, and the Banking and Finance Academy panel. Discussions centered on innovative financing strategies based on agricultural production contracts, adaptation of financial models that suit the unique needs of the sector, and the potential establishment of dedicated agricultural financing units within commercial banks.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here's the international news from our partner agencies. A suicide bomber detonated an explosive device in the heart of the Turkish capital, Ankara, on Sunday. A second assailant was killed in a shootout with police, the Interior Minister said.
The attack occurred hours before Parliament was set to reopen after its 3-month summer recess with an address by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Addressing Parliament on its opening hours later, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said the scoundrels who targeted the peace and security of the citizens could not achieve their goals.
As a result of the timely intervention of our security forces this morning, this action, in which 2 murders were neutralized, is the last stand of terrorism. These scoundrels who targeted the peace and security of the citizens could not achieve their goals. They will never reach it.
2 police officers were slightly injured during the attack near an entrance to the Ministry of Interior Affairs, Minister Ali Yerlikya said on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. The assailants arrived at the scene inside a light commercial vehicle. The 2 police officers were being treated in a hospital and were not in a serious condition, Yerlikya said. Security camera footage on Sunday showed the vehicle stopping in front of the ministry, with a man exiting it and rushing toward the entrance of the building before blowing himself up. A second man is seen following him. Turkish authorities later imposed a temporary blackout on images from the scene. Police cordoned off access to the city center and increased security measures, warning citizens that they would be conducting controlled explosions of suspicious packages. Last year, a bomb blast in a bustling pedestrian street in Istanbul left 6 people dead, including 2 children. More than 80 others were wounded. Turkey blamed the attack on the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party or PKK, as well as Syrian Kurdish groups affiliated with it.
Pope Francis called on Sunday for dialogue between Azerbaijan and Armenia to end the humanitarian crisis in Nagorno-Karabakh. Tens of thousands of now homeless people have streamed into Armenia from the separatist region of Nagorno-Karabakh, controlled by its emboldened adversary Azerbaijan. I've been following the dramatic situation of the displaced people in Nagorno-Karabakh these days. I renew my call for dialogue between Azerbaijan and Armenia, hoping that talks between the parties, with the support of the international community, will foster a lasting agreement that will bring an end to the humanitarian crisis.
Swarms of protesters are filling the streets of the Armenian capital of Yerevan, demanding the Prime Minister's ouster. Relations with Russia, an old ally and protector, have frayed amid mutual accusations. Armenia now finds itself facing multiple challenges after being suddenly thrust into one of the worst political crises in its decades of independence, following the 1991 collapse of the Soviet Union. The pontiff also prayed on Sunday for the victims of fuel depot explosion at a crowded service station near Stepanakert, the region's capital. At least 170 people died in the explosion at a crowded gas station as thousands of ethnic Armenians rushed to flee into Armenia.
Serbia's president on Sunday denied U.S. and other reports of a military buildup along the border of Kosovo, complaining of a campaign of lies against his country. A week earlier, a shootout killed 4 people and fueled tensions in the volatile Balkan region.
Both the United States and the European Union expressed concern earlier this week about what they said was an increased military deployment by Serbia's border with its former province, and they urged Belgrade to scale down its troop presence there. Kosovo's government said Saturday it was monitoring the movements of the Serbian military from 3 different directions. It urged Serbia to immediately pull back its troops and demilitarize the border area.
7 difficult days are behind us, maybe the most difficult days in the last 15 years. Difficult because of events in Kosovo and Metohija, but also because of the extensive campaign against our country, Serbia. Campaign of lies, campaign of untruths.
Associated Press reporters traveling in the border region Sunday saw several Serbian army transport vehicles driving away towards central Serbia, a sign that the military might be scaling down its presence in the region following calls from U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and others. Tensions have soared following the violence in northern Kosovo last Sunday, involving heavily armed Serb gunmen and Kosovo police officers. The clash was one of the worst since Kosovo declared independence from Serbia in 2008 and prompted NATO to announce it would beef up a peacekeeping force stationed in the country. Last weekend's shootout near the village of Banjska followed months of tensions in Kosovo's north, where ethnic Serbs are a majority of the population and have demanded self-rule.
Refugees flood into Armenia from the Nagorno-Karabakh after Azerbaijan's swift offensive. Over 70% of the enclave's population has sought shelter in Armenia. The UNHCR provides crucial aid to the exhausted arrivals, and Azerbaijan forces rapid victory led to talks for Nagorno-Karabakh's reintegration, ending 3 decades of separatist rule. UNHCR reports a surge in humanitarian needs with 100,000 refugees in under a week.
After Azerbaijan's swift offensive last week, refugees from Nagorno-Karabakh continue to pour into Armenia. According to Armenian officials, more than 70% of the original population of Nagorno-Karabakh, an ethnic Armenian enclave in Azerbaijan, have sought refuge in Armenia. A displaced individual who made the journey to Syunik province described her situation as extremely challenging. It was very difficult. We were on the road for 29 hours. There was a lot of traffic. It was hard to get here. My mother is sick, and my brother has children and grandchildren. It was very difficult.
I'm here in Goris town, where more than 100,000 refugees have arrived to Armenia after spending long days on the road. People arrive exhausted, having left all of their belongings and their homes behind. People are in urgent need. UNHCR has been on the ground since the earliest days of the emergency, providing assistance in the form of foldable beds, mattresses, and bedding. We have trucks arriving and will continue to provide aid to those most in need.
In a 24-hour blitz, the Azerbaijani military decisively defeated Armenian forces, compelling separatist authorities to agree to disarmament and engage in talks regarding the reintegration of Nagorno-Karabakh into Azerbaijan, concluding 3 decades of separatist rule. The UN Refugee Agency reports a sharp surge in humanitarian needs, with over 100,000 refugees arriving in less than a week.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.